Now we're happy to welcome Niels Iversen Møller, co-founder and board member at evaxion-biotech. Welcome, Niels. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm pleased to present evaxion-biotech to you. At Evaxion, we're working to saving lives with AI-powered immunotherapies. The idea of using AI is basically to make medicines better at curing patients from their devastating diseases. And there are many diseases to focus on. And at Evaxion, we're focusing on cancer, and we're focusing on infectious diseases. So the whole idea of using AI is that AI should lead to better immunotherapies. So in the case of cancer, there is no question that cancer is unique to the individual. There's also no question that the immune system is unique to the individual. And if you want to develop immunotherapies, you need to take both things into account. And that's what we do at Evaxion. And based on our AI, we look at the immune system, at the patient, we look at the cancer, and then we are developing personalized medicine in less than 7 weeks. And that's important because time matters when you try to save lives of cancer patients. So we believe with our AI approach, we're revolutionizing drug development. Normally, when you think about therapies for patients, it's one size that fits all. But I just introduced that cancers are unique, immune systems are unique. So we don't believe that you can just find one size that fits all for everyone. Also, when you use immune therapies in cancer patients, you see unspecific immune activation. Basically, the immune system in the patient is activated to basically attack anything that it comes across, and not only the cancer. And that's what you want to target, really. So you also see severe side effects with many of these novel immune therapies. And I think the worst thing is really that normally you're not really saving lives, you're prolonging lives with these immune therapies. So with Evaxion's technologies, we're looking at doing truly personalized immunotherapies. So basically, one size fits one patient, taking their immune system and the cancer into account. Our AI technology, Pioneer, seeks out and target the cancer cells specifically. So with that specific attack on the cancer cells, we also minimize the side effects that we observe in our patients that we are testing our therapies in. And the ambition is that we save lives, basically curing the cancers. The competitive edge of using AI in drug discovery is really displayed here in this graph. What you see is, as we start training the different Pioneer versions, so basically our technology to develop patient-specific immunotherapies, we see as we generate data, we train our technology in identifying better therapies. We also see in this mouse model that the tumor killing in these mice is actually becoming better and better. So we see that the tumor volume diminishes with the better versions of our technologies. And this is really the essence of using AI in drug discovery. It's a machine that you can train in becoming better at developing or identifying therapies for patients. And remember that this type of approach using the Pioneer system really develops patient-specific therapies in less than 7 weeks. So imagine this is patients that we're talking about, identifying unique therapies, and we see that training the technologies become better and better at developing new therapies for these patients. And I think the most important thing is that we truly see anti-tumor effect. And this is what it's all about, that we're able to kill the cancers in the patients and save their lives. Evaxion is a fast-growing company. We're more than 70 people today. We're a fully integrated AI and research facility north of Copenhagen in Denmark. We are stock listed on the US NASDAQ, and we use cutting-edge AI platform technologies. We have multiple programs in early stage development, and we have multiple late stage programs in development. And one of the benefits, again, of using AI in drug discovery is that we can expand our pipeline portfolio pretty significantly. We also have a very experienced management team to take the company forward. I want to highlight Lars Winger, experienced CEO, comes with background from both infectious diseases and immunology. Also Erik Hegaard, he's very experienced in infectious diseases and cancer from many world-leading pharma companies. So we believe that with this team, we're all set to develop Evaxion, leverage the full potential of the technology, and cure cancer and infectious diseases. We're tapping into a very attractive market. Right now, the market for immunotherapies is estimated to be $85 billion for cancer alone. That is expected to grow dramatically over the next many years to hit $277 billion by 2030. So the immune therapy market in cancer alone is growing dramatically, and our ambition is to tap into that market, capture a part of that. And that's what we believe, that we're on the right track with our technologies and the programs that we're developing, and certainly the clinical data that we're seeing already. The way that we want to capitalize on our investments in these areas is really that we do the drug discovery, we test the drugs in patients, we out-license to large pharma companies after phase 1 or 2, and then the partner will finalize the development and also commercialize our product. And that will generate income for Evaxion through upfront and milestones and royalty payments. So we're advancing a very robust immunotherapy pipeline. One area, as I mentioned, is cancer immunotherapy. Our lead program is EVX-01, which is targeting metastatic melanoma. We are moving into phase 2B based on the phase 1/2A data that we reported last year. We're doing this study in collaboration with Merck, or MSD, and we are expecting to have the first patient first visit very soon this year. Then we have EVX-02, which is a DNA type of technology, also heading into phase 2 later this year, and we are expecting the regulatory clearance very soon also for that. Then we have our Eden technology, which is focusing on bacterial diseases. Our lead program in infectious diseases or bacterial diseases is a Staph aureus vaccine that is also moving from preclinical into phase 1 last half of 2022. And then based on the recent pandemic by COVID-19, we have been developing the Raven technology. The Raven technology is basically a technology that allows us to identify new vaccine targets very rapidly when a new virus emerges. And we can also use that technology for existing viral diseases. So we are selecting a commercial target later this year. I mentioned that we saw the initial clinical data from our phase 1/2A with EVX-01, and we were very happy with the data that we saw, and it justifies moving the program into phase 2B, which we do in collaboration with Merck. And basically what we see here is that the combined therapy of EVX-01 and standard therapy Keytruda has a significant impact on tumor burden in patients. Basically what we see here, the green columns, is really complete response in 2 patients, so no tumor left. The blue columns are partial response, so significant response in these patients as well, and then a few patients that progressed. This data compares favorable to background data with this number of patients actually responding, and certainly what we see in terms of clinical complete response and partial response. I have one case that I want to share with you, which is a case with a 64-year-old female with stage 4 metastatic melanoma. She was stable on standard therapy, which was Keytruda. We added EVX-01 after 10 months of stable disease. We added EVX-01, and then we saw this patient turning into a complete response. This is unusual and unexpected. You would normally not expect to see such a clear response after 10 months. So this is encouraging, and you can see here on this curve that when we start immunizing, which is the small black arrows, when we start immunizing, the blue columns, which are the T cells, which is actually the patient's immune system being activated, we see in correspondence with that the tumor start shrinking, and on the last scan that we see a complete response. So basically no tumor left in this patient. And this is what we're working for at Evaxion, using our AI technologies to really nail cancer, to kill every single cancer cell in the patients. And this is what we see in this. So very exciting data. And of course, the scans where we see on the top pictures clear signs of clear cancer in this patient, and on the last scan, absolutely no cancer left in this patient. In terms of financing, we are very well financed way into Q3 2023. So that also means that with this ambitious growth plan that we have in terms of pushing our programs through clinical development, we are well financed to do that. And we are expecting multiple options to expand our current funds as we look into the different opportunities to do so. So a very well-financed company looking with a solid, robust financial situation way into Q3 2023. Key anticipated milestones. I wanted to point your attention to the most critical and most important ones, I would say, is really getting the first patient in our phase 2b for EVX-01 that we do in collaboration with Merck. And based on that enrollment in that phase 2b, clinical data or interim data is expected second half of 2023. Then for EVX-02 and 3, the phase 2b, we do the regulatory filing in first half of 2022, and we expect first patient in that trial in second half of 22 as well. So those are the next major near-term milestones that we are anticipating. So there are basically 5 things that I would like you to remember. First of all, Evaxion is an AI company using AI to address a major market that is in rapid growth. So it's immune therapy market that we expect to grow, that is expected to grow quite dramatically. We have a clear competitive edge using our AI platforms and with superior outcome in clinical trials. We have unique products and a very strong proof of concept that we are building on, and we can use that to expand our pipeline very, very broadly. And that also means more business opportunities that we are pursuing as we speak. We also have first-class medical expertise and scientific expertise to support all the work that we're doing in evaxion and bring that into the programs that we're developing. And in the end, we are a company poised for rapid value creation. Forward-looking statements, disclaimer, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Niels, for that presentation. I'd like to start off by asking you, what are the benefits and challenges of being both a technology company and a drug development company?
Clear benefits. I also pointed out in the presentation that when you use AI to discover novel therapies, you can actually become better and better. So it's an iterative process. So basically the idea is to use AI to make better medicines. So it's a very focused, iterative process that in the end will lead to better therapies. The problem is that you need to span the whole development area, and that's also why we have a fully integrated lab focusing or having both machine learning experts or AI experts, preclinical expertise, CMC folks, clinical expertise. So you need to capture that whole value chain or development chain, you could say, of expertise. And that makes things a little bit complex, but that's where we are very focused in integrating everybody in the team to be able to understand different sides of the development process and their research areas, and that takes some effort.
Mm-hmm. You also mentioned the very important collaboration with Merck regarding your lead candidate. How is that collaboration a value driver for Evaxion?
So for us, it's important to, of course, be able to work with Merck in terms of the clinical design of our phase 2b. Secondly, they're also providing Keytruda for free to our trial. So that's, of course, important. But first of all, it's building the relationship so it fits well with our go-to-market strategy, basically, that we get to know them, they get to know us, they get acquainted with EVX-01, they get acquainted with our technologies and so on. So there are multiple benefits of that, and we're building the relationship with them.
Mm-hmm. Well, along those lines, do you envision a scenario where the drugs that you develop will be able to work as a standalone instead of combination with checkpoint inhibitors, as in the case of Keytruda?
Absolutely, and that's also something that we have considered. Right now, we are focusing on the combination of standard therapy with our EVX-01, 2, and 3. And the main reason for doing that is that that will bring us into first-line therapy. Mm-hmm. And since we don't have observed any serious adverse events, and there is editorial effect seen in our preclinical studies, we believe that it's a very good match and really will position us with our products in the first line. So at this point, we don't see a need to do a standalone therapy develelment.
Mm-hmm. All right, and well, just finally, your focus is on personalized cancer immunotherapies, and this obviously means patient-specific. Why is this so important? Why do cancer therapies need to be patient-specific?
Because every cancer is unique. Every patient's immune system is unique, and we have a lot of data showing that melanoma in one patient is very much different from melanoma in another patient. So believing that you can find a single therapy that will be able to tackle all types of melanoma in all types of patients is not possible. So with the technologies currently available that we have at hand, we can uniquely target the individual tumors and the individual immune system, so combining what we believe will have the most optimal response in terms of effect when we develop our therapies. And we can, in addition to that, do that very quickly in just 7 weeks for EVX-01. So it makes a lot of sense combining or having the patient-specific approach when we have the technologies that we have in Evaxion and the capabilities.
Well, great. And thanks so much for answering the questions and for your very interesting presentation. And we look forward to following Evaxion in the coming months.
Thank you.